Your source for everything paranormal. Para-X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The calling.
And good evening, everyone. It's another beautiful Wednesday. We're in Bora Bora. Yeah, we all three decided to take a vacation, so we hitchhiked down to Bora Bora. Am I lying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A little
you
bit.
guys are so enthusiastic. So,
after you
hello.
said that, it's really not true.
Yeah. We're going to start tonight with a lie. Okay.
Let's do that.
Well, isn't that a witch thing to do?
Oh.
No, I didn't say no. Oh, hold on.
Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong now, honey.
I'm kidding. What? Now what are you doing with your hands? What is that? What is that?
What do you like to know?
Why are you using that cattail? Oh, got no audio. Should I refresh? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, why am I telling them that? There's no audio. That was stupid. So let's see now. So tonight, everyone, we decided we're going to talk about witches. And, well, I mean, you know, this is weird, is that there's so many different things about witches and everything, and I didn't realize it until we all started doing some research, you know. So what is the truth behind witches? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they as ugly as they're depicted in some of the movies? You know, and celebrities. I'm going to start out, ladies. I am shocked by the celebrities that people thought are witches, which just kills me because RR. You know, people like Beyonce. I thought it was a B in front of the W instead of the W, but I guess not. So a lot of people thought that she was a witch. Stevie Nicks, which Stevie Nicks used to get really upset. Back in the 70s, there used to be a lot of rumors that were spread around her saying she was an actual witch. And finally, she just kind of screamed out. She's like, "No, I'm not. I wear black because it makes me look thinner, you idiots." You know, I don't know. I get a kick out of that. But, you know, I guess I was one of them that always thought that she was, you know, that she was a witch or that she dabbled in black magic, which she wasn't. The same with, what's the woman's name that was Elvira?
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, a lot of people think she was a witch. She was just playing a part. I mean,
Yeah.
That's it, you know. And then Jennifer Lopez, of all people, they accused her. Yeah, they accused her of mastering actual black magic herself, and that was back in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, stemming from a woman who was dating Lopez's first husband. Which, you know, I don't know.
So crazy.
Yeah, but the one that I really did think was a witch, and I really did because she was in the craft, and that was Fairuza Balk. I always thought she was a witch. She did do a lot of research from when she was in the movie The Craft, and she used to go to this occult store, and she used to hang out quite a bit inside there, but she was never into witchcraft. So it just kind of, was interesting. She got to know the owner of the place, which she said were really lovely people. And the lady had told her, this is it, we're closing down the place. We can't afford to do it, put all this money into it. And that the people that owned the building, excuse me, decided they were going to make a Chinese restaurant out of it. And Feruza said, that ain't happening, because it happened to be the oldest occult shop in the country. So Feruza Bulk did buy it.
And
but
she was the one with the black hair and the black eyeliner, right?
Yeah, she was the one with the mouth.
Right, right.
She always wore all that.
She does. She actually has that.
Yeah.
Persona about her, that she looks like that. Yes.
Yeah. So that just surprised me. All the people that that were, accused of being, the witches and stuff like that. So there. Next.
Okay.
Gosh. So what did you, now Willow, you put out a little video, and I'm sorry, I didn't get the opportunity to really check it out.
I watched Hearth Witch on YouTube, and she is a practicing witch in the UK, and she had a great video today if anybody wants to watch it, and it was on ghost hunting shows and how they always blame the witches of why places are haunted.
Really?
It was hilarious. And she's right. There's a lot of times I'm rolling my eyes during ghost hunting shows because this place is haunted, because you can tell, look at this burn mark in this basement. They must have been doing a ritual down here. I'm sorry. We witches, like she said, are too smart to start a fire in a basement of a wooden house and think that's a good idea. We're not that dumb. We're not stupid. But no, I thought it was, she had a lot of good points, and I thought it was just kind of valid for what we were going to discuss tonight. So that's why I sent you the link so you guys could watch it. But of course, everybody was busy, so I watched it.
Well,
the witch watched it. All right. It's okay.
So now, you just, you said that you're a witch now.
Yes.
What are you? You Wiccan? You Pagan?
I am a traditional eclectic witch.
Okay, and where does that sit between the Pagan or the other one? Wiccan.
Okay, Wiccan. I am trained as a Wiccan high priestess. Okay, for about 20 years, I was a Wiccan high priestess, but I have gotten away from the organizational type, and I'm more of a solitary practitioner now. I don't participate in any kind of organized things. I basically am just me. I work with my herbs. I work with oils. I do my own kind of magical spell work when I need it for me. I don't do it for others. So it's just kind of who I am. I believe in earth energies and that kind of stuff. So I do not follow Wicca anymore. Pagan, yes, of course I'm pagan, because it's kind of hand in hand. Witches generally believe in multi-deities, and so do pagans. So we're polytheistic, believing in multiple deities. Now, does that mean that we don't believe in creator? No, because even in Wicca, they have Gaia, or the goddess and the god. Right. So that's more like, it's still two, but one. It's very complicated. Anyway, but they look at other deities as the archetypes of different individual personalities and things that we do in our lives. Like Diana the Huntress, or Bridget, the creator mother energies, and things like that. So that's how, they believe. And I believe in all of that. I follow the paganism route more, I would say. But I do practice the craft, which pagans do not have to practice the craft. That's why they can be separate. But you can be a pagan and practice the craft, which then you can say you're a witch. But
So
the
what's considered the craft then? What is
the
that
craft
considered?
would be the magical aspect, using
Okay.
the spells, using the herbs, doing the rituals. That would be the craft.
Okay.
The word witch, I just want to put that out there for everybody. The word witch means wise one. That is what the word means. It is not a bad name. Somebody calls me a witch, I thank them because thank you. You just called me a wise one, and that makes me very happy. I'm like, thank you.
That's great.
But I always say thank you. If they called me anything else, I might be a little upset. But call me a witch any day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's see now. The chat room is blowing up here. So let's see now. So pagan and Wiccan references to religion, doesn't it? That's Kat's asking that.
I don't see it as okay. When I think of religion, I think of an organized, dogmatic kind of entity, okay, or group. For paganism, it is not organized. People do their own thing. we just give us some meat and a bonfire and we're happy, okay? But for Wicca, it's a little more organized, and they have been federally recognized since the 1960s when they fought to get it federally recognized so that it could be used in prison systems, in the military, and so now it is recognized. So people could write that down as their religion. So that's different as well. So, yeah.
Huh, okay. Someone said that there's no such thing as Christian witches.
I would have to say yes on that in a way. If you're a natural born witch and you've always worked with your herbs and you've always
I think I was. I think I've been. I was a witch because I'm very attracted to anything that's witchery or spells.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been there. So,
yes.
Well,
and that's but that's just it. It's like what was the Christian witches? I've run into too many. However, if you're a witch and so I've run into Christian Wiccans. That's really an oxymoron because Wiccans are polytheistic, Christians are monotheistic. How can you be both in that area?
Right.
Now, to practice the craft or work with your herbs and your crystals and all of that, that's a different thing. You can still be a witch, but you wouldn't be polytheistic.
Right.
You'd be monotheistic. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes and no. I've always kind of been on the fence with that one.
Okay. So what is a warlock exactly? Sherry's asking that.
Oath breaker, traitor. That's what the word means. Male witches are witches. They are not warlocks. God, that's the one thing that gets me so bad.
Well then why? So
yeah.
I don't. Wait a minute. Okay, so they're. What did you say they were?
They are. The word warlock means traitor or oath breaker.
Huh.
They've
Why?
always been a negative. That's the definition if you look it up in the dictionary. Warlock was used from Hollywood. That's who started using that term for male witches. But a male witch is still a witch.
Well, I'll be darned. Okay.
See, that's what I always thought, that the warlock was a male witch.
No.
Okay.
No. They're not. No.
Good, Chris. Good question, Sherry, because that's one of the ones I had written down on here. So that's good. Excellent. So.
Okay. And then Steph's asking, Keenan's daughter, not all pagan and Wiccans are witches.
Right. Correct.
Okay. It's a practice.
Yes. You have to practice the craft to become the witch.
Okay. So you can still practice. Okay. Wow. Look there's just so many. You guys, slow down. Why does the public call male Wiccans all warlocks then?
I really don't
Again,
know.
just
I think it just started through Hollywood and the movies, and some guy somewhere didn't want to be called a witch, so he started calling himself a warlock, which is ridiculous. I mean, look at the Hollywood movies. Look at the movie Warlock. Okay, would it have gotten as great a hype if it was called Male Witch? Probably
True.
not.
Probably not. Yeah.
So Hollywood is marketing.
Okay. So Kat's asking, Pagan was used to label anyone not Christian, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, well, but that's not really what it means.
I do know that pagans back in time, at that point, all of a sudden, pagans were all about, it was all about pagans at first. And then all of a sudden this Catholic religion comes in. So a lot of them had end up going with this Catholic religion. That's how that whole thing with the Catholic the pagans and the Catholics became. Because I think a lot of people were more afraid. They got afraid of the way the Catholics were controlling, in a sense. So I feel like there was a lot of hostile when there was so many pagans that were out there. Because in reality, there were a lot more pagans than were Catholics.
Yeah.
So, just saying.
And most people think that the word pagan means anyone who is not Christian.
Right.
But that then okay.
Pagans were more like Earth, weren't they? More of Earth and so
they're the country dwellers. They're the people who were on the outskirts. Dwellers. Yeah, they were the outskirts of the cities or the villages. That's who they called the pagans. So, it's like, where was I going with this? When the Christians came in, when the Catholics started coming in, they used a lot of fear, and they got a lot of people to convert to Catholicism by putting their holidays at the same time as the pagan holidays, like Easter and Ostara. They're very Christmas, because wasn't Christ actually born in the spring? Yes. But Yule was in the winter, and they thought, and it's the coming of the sun, the rebirth of the sun. Perfect time. We'll use that date.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Kat's asking, there's a lot of questions in here. Sorcerer is from Hollywood, too?
Well, you can look back into the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. There were sorcerers. Those were pretty much alchemists. They were trying to turn metal into gold, basically. That was their whole premise. But then sorcery, we can call people sorcerers if they're working in dark magic, things like that. But it's not really a witch. A witch is a witch. It's a wise one. We're different. We're not sorcerers.
Okay, and now Steph is saying, in the Bible, pagans were non-believers in God.
Yes. That too, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the Judaism and Christianity.
Yeah.
Okay. Swamp Puss is saying Catholics stole everything from the pagans.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a Catholic. You heard her. She just said so.
That's right.
No,
I'm just saying because I do read a lot in a sense, and I feel like that's the way it is. Like I feel that there were way more pagan. It was all about pagans. People were living off the earth. You know what I mean? Yeah. People had to learn to survive out there and use the earth, use the rocks, use herbs and stuff like that. So there was a lot more, and it was just simple medicines, simple things to survive. And here comes this organization because they wanted to have it more organized and they wanted to have all this. So, and we all believe in a higher power as well. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like there's a little bit of, and there's a lot of controversy on it, even to this day. And now we have these modern witches now. There's this new thing called modern witches, which is a whole different sense. But like I said, I truly believe that there were way more paganism, and it was all about paganism, and there were no, at that time, until this Catholic thing came through. So
pretty much the indigenous have it correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here now. These guys are writing so fast. My gosh. Okay, we already did the stolen lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been there. Oh my gosh.
Rules, death cult.
Well, like St. Patrick driving the snakes out of Ireland. Basically,
oh, yeah.
That was driving the pagans out of Ireland. Not snakes. They called us snakes.
But no, I'm going to show my stupidity. There is snakes in Ireland, isn't there? Or is there not?
Apparently there isn't. Oh, I thought there wasn't.
See, that's what I thought too, because we had, oh my God, this is like so many years ago, we had
I know
Fitzgerald on.
saying. Yep.
And
yes,
he talked about it, that there is no snakes in Ireland. But yet there is the hugest spiders you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I would imagine with all of our commerce by now, a snake sneaking onto a ship, getting off that ship into a crate, going onto I would imagine so.
But they'd be eaten by the spiders.
Well, it's true. Maybe. There could be a spider-snake war. Ooh. Wonder what saint they'll send in to get that. Is there one for spiders?
Big rats too. Yeah, I'm sure. So, alrighty. Now, where were we? Okay, that was. Thank you very much for everybody that asked questions or made comments and stuff like that. That was awesome. And no, I'm not the fastest reader in the world. Cat. So I tried. Okay.
So apparently there are no snakes in Ireland. I just looked it up because of the climate.
Oh,
well,
because it's too cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
I didn't think about that, but it is always cool there. And beautiful.
So now, when it came to the first Salem witch hangings, that started in 1692. Mm-hmm. And that was actually Massachusetts Bay Colony. Bridget Bishop was the first person to be tried in the Salem witch trials, hanged after being found guilty of practicing witchcraft. She was accused by a 9-year-old girl and an 11-year-old girl, the daughter and niece, respectively, of Reverend Samuel Parris, began experiencing fits and other mysterious things happening, and a doctor concluded that the children were suffering from the effects of witchcraft. And the young girls had corroborated the doctor's diagnosis under compulsion from the doctor and the parents. The girls named their alleged responsible for their suffering, and it was her. And that it just shows you, I'm sorry, how stupid people were back in those days.
Well, it wasn't stupid, it was ignorance, because they did not know. It was just ignorance. They were also
stupid,
Well, they were stupid for hurting people, yes.
Yeah, it just kills me that a lot of this stuff happened. And, if you take a look at it, it seems like it's that long ago, but yet the last person to get charged as being a witch was actually in 1878. And that, to me, is amazing. And that was the last witch. That was Lucretia Brown was the last witchcraft trial in America, May 14th, 1878. The last charge of witchcraft in this country was brought to trial in Salem. So, I mean, I would like to go to Salem, and I'd like to come and visit you too, Willow, and just feel the intensity from just the land itself.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
You like that feeling?
I came here specifically for the spiritual energy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd been drawn to it since I guess I was a little girl. So moved here in 2010. That's my familiar if you hear him meowing.
So
one of the four.
Right. But, that's what I was asking. Okay, how many witches were burned at the stake in America?
Oh.
And that's where it comes up kind of weird. It says 80 people were accused of practicing witchcraft in witch hunt that lasted throughout New England from 1647 to 1663. 13 women and 2 men were executed.
I think that date's wrong. I think it's 1693. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm thinking too, because it says that the first person accused of it was in 1692.
Right. And they were done by 1693 for the most part.
Right.
For the most part.
Well, I just couldn't imagine, I don't think I could sit by whether a person was guilty of something or not while they're being set on fire.
Oh, no. And they were cheering it on. It's like...
Right.
But like I saw somebody say, what a great way to get property. And that's the truth. A lot of the times they wanted property from females that owned property. Like maybe their husbands died and now they own the land and they weren't ready to sell it. So they wanted to take their land. Well, how else can you do it? Well, accuse them of witchcraft. We'll get that land for you. That's how they were doing it, Or if you didn't look right, or if you maybe were an ugly old woman, you must be a witch.
Right.
This is the way it was. And it was like, or you were too pretty and somebody was thinking you were trying to get their husband. Guess what? Yeah. You must be a witch.
A witch. Yep.
So that's how it was. But there's still people to this day in other countries that are being executed for being a witch. So please don't think that the witch trials are completely done. Maybe they are trial-wise in the United States and even in Europe. But when you look at other countries like India and Africa and other places, it is still happening. People are still dying because they're witches. And hell, even in this country, we're losing our jobs and losing our children for being witches.
Yeah. Or just because they are not European white people.
Yes.
And that's wrong.
And I read there are a lot more Asian, Korean witches and African witches out there. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. So David says, I see a lot of common ground between pagan witches and the First Nations people. Both have remarkable respect for Mother Earth and all nations who share her space. That is definitely true. That's huge there.
And during the witch trials, a lot of witches went to the native people for help.
Right.
So that's how we learned a lot of the native traditions in the beginning.
That's true. Also, Steve's saying the main difference between Christians and pagans are that Christians believe in one God and pagans multiple gods.
Yes. Monotheistic is Christianity. Polytheistic is pagans and Wicca. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good. I like that.
Okay, well, maybe Sherry's got a good question here. When did black magic versus white magic appear?
I don't know exactly what date, but I would say that it's when Wicca came in. Because the way the traditional witch culture is, we see it as there is no black or white, there is. What you need to do at that moment. When we look at black magic in that context, it would be anything that would harm another person.
Right.
Or in that case, even control another person. And we were talking about that earlier before the show started, the ethics of trying to control somebody else's free will. And we can't do that. That's not right. So.
And you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Oh, yep.
So,
Great time.
yeah. So I think that'd be a great segue maybe
Oh
to
my
our
God.
second
It is
half.
great time. We will be right back, everybody, in 2 minutes.
If you're looking for a truly unique podcast experience, we have you covered. Spirit by You with CJ Dunham airs live from the Third Coast in Southeast Texas on Tuesday and Fridays at midnight Eastern Time, covering Creole folklore and folk magic to strange paranormal activity to new equipment for the field. CJ Dunham is a Catholic swamp witch, a devotee to our Mother Mary in the Trinity, a true believer in our Lord, the Holy Ghost, and Christ. Peace be with your spirit and the spirits by you.
Those geek ladies, Sean and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal, are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Para X. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
Hey there. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a great new radio show on Para X. 2 hosts, 1 hour, and too much fun. Stephanie and Heidi not only talk about the latest goings-on in the supernatural worlds, they live it. They want to hear from you. They want to help you understand and guide you. And they want you to tune in. So, grab a friend or come alone to gather around that metaphysical table with Heidi and Stephanie. If you're interested in the worlds of the unseen, tune in to the Gathering Radio Show, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Para X Radio.
And we are back. This is Jerry, Kimberly, and Willow. And if you're just joining us, and you should listen to the whole show. We'll have it on our website tomorrow by around 4 o'clock or so. Just go to www.thecallingradioshow.com. And hey, Para X has got tons of fantastic shows. So keep listening. Every day, there's always something new. And you may even learn something. Like The Gathering every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Stephanie and Heidi do a fantastic job. And the big thing is all shows are different. So keep with Para X. You're going to find some really cool stuff. Also, too, you can also find our show listed on YouTube. And it's the Calling Radio Show, of course. Subscribe and have some fun. We got tons of shows on there. So anyway, okay, so we're back. And we're talking about witches and really cool stuff like that. And one of the things that Dave had said, the witch trials, what a great way to acquire properties for mothers. And that is really true. That mostly the media can't have good without evil. True. Why can't magic just be magic, a tool or method?
Well, for me, that's what I see it as. I don't see it as good or bad or dark or white. It just is. It's energy. That's really what it is. You know, we can say, oh, well, there's good energy and there's bad energy, but what if there's just energy? And how you use it with your intent makes it go where you need it to go. I mean, that's just, you know, if I need to do healing work, people would see that as white kind of magic, you know. It's like, oh, you're bringing in something positive. But at the same time, what if I needed to protect myself because somebody was trying to harm me and I have to send out something? To me, others might say, oh, she's sending out dark magic.
Right.
But am I? No, I'm putting up protection. I'm sending it back to them, maybe, because I always say return to sender. You know, if you're going to send it at me, just return it back to the sender because it was sent to me with malice. So it's, you know, it's just, is it black or white? Is it dark or light? It just is. It's all in the intent.
Okay, so you got white magic, you got black magic. What about gray magic?
That's, I think, where most people fall. Gray magic is just that line. What's your intent? If it's gray, it's not harming you. It's not harming anybody. It just is. That's what I see. I think it's a combination of the two. It's like, how do you see it? If my protection, because I returned to sender, somebody sees that as dark magic, to me, I see that as a protection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's all in the perception of it. That's how I see it.
Now, Swampus is saying burnings were all done in Europe, hangings and stonings in America.
Yeah.
Is that, well, that's what we did find, that one that says that witches were burned at the stake here in the United States.
I thought it said they weren't, but they were hung.
Were. Let's see if I can find out. How many witches were burned at the stake in America? About 80 people were accused of practicing witchcraft in a witch hunt that lasted throughout. 13 men and women were executed. Salem witch trials. Let's see if I can find a little bit more on that. Why don't you guys go ahead and read some of the stuff in the thing?
Okay. Okay. Swampus also says, will that was mostly media can't have the good without the evil. Exactly, because they want it to look good. And you gotta, it's like selling those tickets, right? You gotta sell those tickets to the movies. And that's why, you know, Warlock was called Warlock and not the male witch. Right. You know, it's not going to sell tickets.
And you have to be careful, because if you're doing magic, especially the dark magic, you would know that comes to you like twice as hard as what you're putting out. You know, and I really think that sometimes witches get out of control in a sense, that they, not that they don't know what they're doing, but they don't realize, because I think it gives them this high, and it's like, oh wow, this is really working, you know. So I think sometimes they get all into it instead of realizing what they're doing can cause more harm to them, you know.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, they always called it the rule of three. Which means, you know, what you send out comes back to you threefold. The threefold law, right? But I always said, I always look at it as about 10 times, because I'm not going anywhere near sending out something that's going to come back to me that bad.
See, my mom's always told me that, and you see, I think we were witches in a past life.
Oh, what else we got on here?
So yeah, I really think that you have to be extremely careful, because I do know somebody that's like that, and I feel like it's gotten worse for them. So in that sense, but yeah. But anyways, so yeah, so when you do things, Willow, so I want to ask you a question. So when you do things, do you use more like herbs and earth, fire? Because I know the elements, so earth, air, fire, and water, right? Mm-hmm. That's the elements. So are you more of a naturalist in that you use a lot of these things, you know, like to do?
Yeah, I use a lot of fire magic, like burning the incense, burning the herbs, burning my written petition so that the smoke raises up to be heard. Things like that. And I use my oils, and I use Florida water. I can also create like my own holy water or blessed water. Right. You can infuse it, you know, like in the moon. So you could like have moon water. But yeah, and you know, totally, it's all about the 4 elements, and that's what every witch should always know. It's about the 4 elements. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So far, everything that I found, beheadings or anything like that, even Norway burned some to death.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Sweden, Ireland, but so far none were burned here in the United States, though yet it's stated, but they have a list of the people's names and the families, and one even too was that was burned was pregnant at the time. And there's a lot in Denmark and Norway. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, it was very widespread. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so far I'm not seeing any that are, there's a lot of them that were hung, some were beaten to death, some were thrown into prisons and not
and that's odd because you always hear about, oh, they burned a witch. You know, if you go to a church or somewhere in the United States, and they always say, oh, I heard that they burned because she was a witch and blah 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 and this and that. You know, so that's super odd that wasn't.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally. And that's one of the things that I was listening on that YouTube channel today, that show with Hearthwitch, and it was like, this house must be haunted because somebody that practiced spiritualism and they were a witch lived here, so therefore it must be haunted.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's silly. Did they die in there? Because if they die there, it probably is.
Wow, it just kills me. Why is it never the husband's fault? Well, let's see.
I think it could be. I'm not married. There could be a reason. Oh, divination is a form of magic, Steve B is saying. Yes, it is. Witches, generally, the things that are required of us is to learn a healing modality, to learn a divination, how to protect ourselves. Those are some things that I always taught when I was teaching classes in Wicca, because I used to teach Wicca 101. So for me, I tried to teach the young ones so that they knew what they were doing ethically, morally, and didn't summon some crazy giant rabbit or something by mistake.
And what I want to kind of throw it out there right now, Willow, I've noticed now that this new modern witch thing is going on, and it's more happening now with the younger generation more than ever. So like I have this case that I noticed that, I practice this and I do this and I do that. And I'm like, so do you have a mentor? I always ask them, do you have a mentor? Because if not, you need to be super careful what you're doing because they're just doing it on random. And I feel like sometimes these younger generations don't know what they're really doing. So I even told her, well, let me help you find someone. You know what I mean? Because it's getting off the chart with this young generation now.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I used to, when I would have young people come in and ask me, well, how can I learn if I don't have a teacher? Well, learn like I did. Read, but read good books. Read from the elders that I can recommend for you because I know that they practice with ethics and morals and I've met them personally.
Correct.
So these are the authors you need to follow. And most of them are no longer with us, but their works that they have written are still good today. And they teach how to practice with ethics and morals so that you're not doing something that causes you harm or somebody else harm. Yeah.
Right. Are tulpa thought forms black or darker magic? Sherry's asking.
I'm not sure what that is. Okay. I don't know why. I've never heard that.
Alrighty, let's see here now. Kind of going down here looking for more questions. All right. Keep going, ladies. I know, Kat, I'm an hour behind. Give me a break. Okay? God, I'm a man.
Thank you, Dave. I see that you've listed a couple really good ones, Janet Farrar and Silver Raven Wolf. I also recommend any books by Scott Cunningham. You know, he's no longer with us, but excellent. Also, Raven Grimassi, he's also no longer with us. He passed away a year or two ago. Great books. Also, a couple that actually helped organize Wicca in the 60s was Gavin and Yvonne Frost. And they wrote a book, and I believe it's called The Witch's Magical Handbook. And it's literally a Wicca 101 class written in book form. And each chapter is a lesson. And it's really a good book. And I've gotten many copies of that I give out to students that come to me. So, yeah, I think it's important that you have some good authors that you can follow.
How come you haven't done a handbook or a book? I mean,
I know.
Timothy Arnwine, who is a friend of mine, and I've had him on the show a couple of times, wrote a book about ghost hunting 101, you know, and he did a really pretty good job at it and stuff, and we kind of use it as guidelines for our new members. There's a few things I don't agree in there, so I rip out the pages. But so
just use a marker, Jerry. You should never rip out a page. Just mark it out.
You know.
Paint the 2 pages together, you know.
I still feel that even when you read your books and whatnot, you have to be comfortable what your genuine heart is, you know. So I feel like sometimes, you know, the books are educational, it helps, but I still feel like when you become who you are, it's where you're genuine. So I feel like those are just your guidelines and stuff like that. So I don't, did I put a damper on it?
No. When I first started out, my first weekend before I became Wiccan, I was literally sent by a professor to do a paper on witchcraft versus metaphysics. Freaked me out. I'm like, I don't even know where to go to get that information. I lived in a small town in Indiana. Okay, we didn't have a lot of that.
Right.
So I'm like, you want me to infiltrate the witches? They're scary. They could kill me. What are you doing making me do this? Right? I had no clue. I didn't know what to call myself at that point. Right. I was calling myself a spiritualist because I talked to the dead. That's what I thought I was.
Right.
But I went to this metaphysical bookstore. Awesome story. I brought the largest guy I knew with me, a young gay man, but he was like 6 foot tall, big guy, right? Me and Nick, we go in there. We're scared. We're like, we don't know what to expect. And we walk in the door, and there's all this beautiful incense burning, and there's all these pretty stones and crystals and feathers and Native American section. And I walk over to the lady, and while he's looking at the stones and crystals, he just completely left me. And I go over and talk to the lady at the front desk, who happened to be the owner. Her name was Karen. It was Insight's bookstore in Valparaiso. No, was it Valpo? No. At that point, it was Chesterton, Indiana. Then she moved to Valpo. But I walk up to her, and I'm kind of being real quiet. And I said, could you show me the section on witchcraft? She goes, I'll do you one better. Hey, Star! And she screams across the store to this little older woman in the corner, short-haired, kind of round, very sweet, kind-looking lady. She goes, this young lady wants to know about the witches. Can you help her? And I'm like, mortified. I am mortified.
I love it.
She comes walking over, happy as can be. She looks at me and she goes, what do you want to know? I'm a witch. And I'm like, oh, well, you're not so scary. I actually said that to her. You're not so scary. And so before I left there that day, I owned 20 books from that bookstore. A lot of them Karen had given to me because she had a library that she would give books out, and she had some that she goes, I don't want this. She had the Hammer of the Witches. She had an actual hardback antique book she gave to me because she didn't want it in the store.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the
Well,
Malus Maleficarum. That's where they showed the people how to interrogate the witches during the witch trial.
Oh, wow.
You still have that?
No, it got burned in my house fire in 2006.
Oh,
The house caught on fire because of it.
No. I think my ex-husband did it. Anyway,
well, just to let anybody
short.
know, this fall, Sim has decided to start to bring up the symposium that's going to be down in Faribault. And, of course, we're going to be having Cat Paranormal is going to be helping us with it. And our guest, our speaker, is Willow Le Machant. So we're going to have Millow.
I have a new name again.
Yeah. We're going to have Willow brought up as a guest speaker, and she'll be talking about witchcraft and doing readings for you and everything else and stuff. So I'm just getting it out. You guys heard it first that it's going to be happening here. Faribault. It'll be a blast. So I'm very excited about it and can't wait.
Yeah.
And Millow will be there.
Yeah.
So
Kimberly.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question, Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true witches are sexy and hot?
Yes. And we do it in circles.
That's what they say.
Oh, my God.
They do.
All right.
Okay. I got to diet now. I got to lose a lot of weight. I got to lose a lot of weight before then.
I'm
not dirty. I took a bath. I don't know about you.
That they're like that. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Sherry just asked me a question. Jerry, do you do spells? It's like, no, I don't do spells. I can do readings, but, as in, smoke readings, but I don't do spells. No. I had a spell once. I got hit really hard in the head. But
did you really?
I really did. I got my bell. It was my daughter, Casey, when she was a little girl, and she was going to be playing baseball. We were just talking about it today, and the coach was going to be late, and so the assistant asked me, can you help me, with everybody, pitching the ball and stuff. Well, I had the sun in my eyes, and Casey wound up and threw the ball at me, and it hit me in the forehead, and I actually had the laces in my head, impressed in my forehead. I was seeing all sorts of stars and stuff like that. And I remember Casey's like, Dad, you okay? And I'm like, God damn, oops, sorry. I was and then I had to laugh it off because, you don't want to be known as the wuss dad, so.
I mean, I've tripped over my dog once and went head first into a very large beam in the middle of the building. That knocked me out. I had a headache for 3 days. Right on the top of the head. Like, I tripped, and it was like just right at the top of the head. Right
when
into
you get
that
hit on the top of the head,
beam.
It hurts when you get
Oh, my God, yeah.
Well, that's what they call being crowned, and that's the crown of your head. So, yeah. That's
it made me smarter though, so I'm good now.
And the thing is, animals, when that happens, they kind of run in fear and crouch. They're not scared. They're laughing their butts off.
My dog just kind of looked at me and like, why'd you do that?
That's like Melly today. I got to see Mel's and she was sitting on my lap, and I call it Melly medicine because it's just, it takes all that stuff away and stuff. But yet the cat, I go to say hello to her and I pick her up, and there she puts her claws, as you can see right here, right directly in my arm, and here I am bleeding away.
Yeah, I got a Draven.
And Dave says Abby giggles her butt off. Abby, his cat is a Maine Coon.
Oh,
and
nice.
Huge. She's huge, and she's the kind that, she doesn't like you, she'll give you the paw.
Oh yeah.
She'll give you the paw.
Yep.
I have 2 half Maine Coons too, so, and they're beautiful.
Do you
cats.
really?
Yeah. Yep. They have
and your little dog survives that?
Ears. But I mean, they're half the size probably of Dave's, because they're not full Maine Coons, but they are. So they're beautiful. They're super beautiful.
Well, I know the lady across the way over here in the next apartment building, she has an extremely large Mancoon, just gigantic. And she takes it out and she puts it on a leash and stuff, and she walks it. And then she picks it up and puts it in a baby stroller. And it just looks so cute. But dogs, they won't come near it.
Oh, I imagine.
It's a very aggressive animal.
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing about witches. What is the deal with cats and witches? You know what I mean? They always portray that.
Well, it's like a witch can have any kind of animal be their familiar. It's just cats are very mystical, magical creatures. They kind of walk between the worlds. They can see things that we can't see. Even as a medium, I'm like, what are you seeing? Because they're not showing me who's there, you know. But yet they'll play with, I don't know who's in here, but they're playing with whoever. And I have 4 of them, you know, and it's like they take turns being my familiar because, you know, you can't have them all at once. It'd get a little crazy. But, it's always been that way. Like some people have familiars that are a bird or a dog, but it's just kind of like they just know us. I've had a cat that was a familiar years ago that if I cast a circle and he was in it, he would not leave until I opened the circle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his name was Mafa. Mm-hmm.
Mafa?
Mafa, yes.
Mafa.
Mafa, M-A-F-A, and it's actually a deity, a cat god. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I had Maharet too. Maharet was my vampire kitty.
Let's see. Cats, no, dogs are too eager to please, to be good at it. Yeah, exactly.
True.
What was one thing? Oh, with superstitions. That's what I always thought was so funny about people had on cats. Because over in England is where it first started about a black cat crossing your path. That's bad luck. Right. And to ward it off is to spit over your left shoulder. Was to do that. Over there it was good luck if a cat crossed your path. Here it was a bad luck, and that to ward that off is to spit over your left shoulder. And that's actually the same with spilling salt, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we always throw it over our shoulder if we spill it.
Yeah, and it's always over the left, am I correct?
But, I don't think I would be spitting over my shoulder because then you could have bad luck if somebody's standing there. And you spit on them.
That's just them. They should have never been there.
I'm not going to spit on that big guy.
Dave's saying this could have been a 2-hour show. Yeah.
You know what? Definitely. Now we know not to walk behind Jerry, please. When the put a cat crosses around.
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe in the black cat that crosses your path.
Oh,
I don't believe in the walking down the ladder was bad.
Or a cracked mirror. A cracked mirror too. I don't believe in that as well.
Well, I stay away from the cracked mirrors and stuff like that.
I have really broken mirrors right now in my house. So
mirrors, I don't trust what lives within the mirror. I don't. Seriously.
Oh, they're out now. They're broken mirrors.
Well, keep them over there.
Okay.
Cat says a black cat crosses your path means they got a place to go. Okay, so, thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. It's the end of the show. And thank you, Para X. Thank you, Sarge. We appreciate everything that you do. And, hey, we'll see you all next week. And be good. Be good.
Night.